Great. His seat, and we will. Okay, here we go. So once again, everybody, welcome. And if I can say this before I get into the first order of the agenda, which is the making and attesting of declarations for each councillor. In particular, welcome to those of you who are new, Paul. So welcome, and likewise welcome, Neil. You're back again. So that's great, and all of you are successfully re-elected. Congratulate you. So the good news is that I'm not in the seat for very much longer, so I'll get on with it. Okay, so the first order of the agenda is the making and attesting of declarations. The way we'll run this, so I'm just going to do it in terms of the shape of the room. So we'll start with Councillor Dick, and the process is, just to be clear about this, the process is there's a declaration to be read by the incoming councillor, then that declaration's signed, and I countersign it. So that's the first order of the agenda, okay? Yep.
I, Alan Dick, declare that I will faithfully and impartially, and according to the best of my skill and judgment, execute and perform in the best interests of the Hawke's Bay region the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Hawke's Bay Regional Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, or any other act, and that's dated here in Napier this 26th day of October 2016.
Okay, I call forward Councillor Hewitt.
Thanks, Andrew. Good morning. I, Deborah Hewitt, declare that I will faithfully and impartially, and according to the best of my skill and judgment, execute and perform in the best interests of the Hawke's Bay region the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Hawke's Bay Regional Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, or any other act.
Thank you very much, Debbie, and if I can call forward Councillor Wilson.
Thank you. I, Fenton Wilson, declare that I will faithfully and impartially, and according to the best of my skill and judgment, execute and perform in the best interests of the Hawke's Bay region the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Hawke's Bay Regional Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, or any other act.
Thanks, Councillor Belford.
I, Thomas Belford, declare that I will faithfully and impartially, and according to the best of my skill and judgment, execute and perform in the best interest of the Hawke's Bay region the powers, authorities, and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Hawke's Bay Regional Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, or any other act.
Councillor Bailey.
Kia ora tātou katoa. I, Paul Bailey, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interests of the Hawke's Bay region the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Hawke's Bay Regional Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987 or any other act. Dated at Ahuriri, this 26th day of October 2016.
Thanks, Peter. Morning, everybody. I, Peter Bevan, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interests of the Hawke's Bay region the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Hawke's Bay Regional Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987 or any other act. Thanks, Councillor Graham.
Good morning. I, Rex Graham, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interest of the Hawke's Bay region the powers, authority and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Hawke's Bay Regional Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987 or any other act.
Was that?
Bit of blue pen.
Thanks, Councillor Barker. You're all getting the routine here. You're well ahead of me.
I, Richard Barker, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interests of the Hawke's Bay region the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Hawke's Bay Regional Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987 or any other act.
Thanks, Rick. Great pleasure. Thanks, Councillor Curtin.
I, Neil Curtin, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interests of the Hawke's Bay region the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Hawke's Bay Regional Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meeting Act 1987 or any other act.
Thank you very much, councillors. You're now fully fledged councillors, so that's great. Okay. Three, which is the election of chairman. There's two parts to this process. The first part is to decide the voting method, and the second part is clearly the nominations and the process for electing the chairman. So I want to move firstly to the process for electing the chairman. There are two processes outlined in the paper attached, method A and method B. What I will say in the interests of perhaps efficiency here is normally the councillors used method A as the voting process, and that's the recommendation from staff is to continue with that method unless councillors wish to use method B. What I would, if everybody's happy, what I would simply ask for is a mover and seconder to the recommendation. So Councillor Hewitt, mover. We've got a seconder. Thanks, Councillor Bevan. Okay, so all in favour of method A? Sorry. Okay. Yep.
Sorry, Andrew. I'd like to move a motion that we amend recommendation 1, specifically the word chairman of council to chairperson of council. I wasn't aware that we were discounting half the people in the Hawke's Bay from potentially chairing the regional council.
So, seconder for that motion?
Yeah, I'm happy for the...
Yep. Okay, so perhaps I'll move to the amendment first, and if you want to say anything more, Councillor Bailey?
No, that's fine. I think it's
That's
pretty
fine.
clear what the intention is here.
Does the seconder want to make a comment or not? No, fine. Okay, look, I'll put that amendment to the council. All in favour, aye. Any nays? No, it's passed unanimously. So there we go. So that's entering the new world there. Councillor Bodie, very impressive. Hell, we've just lurched forward 20 years. Substantive motion. So in that particular instance, I'll just be reminded it's now the substantive motion. So I'm now asking. So I have a mover and seconder on the method A for electing the chairperson of council. Does the mover want to make any comment? On? No, that's fine. Seconder. In that case, I'll put that motion as well.
Small comment.
Yep.
I just want to say I want to congratulate Councillor Bailey on his entry into the world of politics. He's going to have a very, very successful political career. The mark of a successful politician is to campaign for something which has already happened and no one realises it. Our amendment we've just passed is to make a chairperson. So when you look at the papers, Clause A says the election and appointment of the chairperson and deputy chairperson. It was actually the notes at the top which were incorrect, not the statute. So Paul has successfully ensured that we endorse what it currently is, and I want to congratulate you on a smart move.
And if I can comment from the chair, Councillor Barker, thank you for reading the paper so assiduously. All right. Okay, so I'm going to put the motion for the method A for the voting method for the chairperson elect. Okay, all in favour? Okay, that's passed. Okay, so we'll move on. So now, if I can ask for nominations of chairman, Councillor Wilson.
I'd like to nominate Rex Graham as chairman.
Okay. Do we have a seconder for Councillor Graham? Thank you, Councillor Barker. Do we have any other nominations for chairman? Chairperson, rather. No other nominations? Okay, well in that case, on the basis that Councillor Graham is the nominee. I just need to ask you, Councillor Graham, whether you're happy to accept that nomination, firstly, and then secondly, whether you may want to make any comment as the candidate for chairperson.
Do I have to go through this declaration again?
You will, and I'm happy to do that. And then if you want to say something after that or before that, I'm pretty relaxed. Yeah, great. Okay. So, look, I just need to put the motion for Councillor Graham as chairperson. All in favour? Sorry. Any other comments from the nominator and seconder? I guess yes. Fair comment.
I'd like to say something.
Yep.
I just think it's too momentous an occasion for the regional council for there to be no comment. Actually, the regional council is the only entity we have which represents the whole of Hawke's Bay. We have a number of councils, but the regional council is the one that represents the whole of Hawke's Bay, and Hawke's Bay does need representation. This is a very important role. The second thing is that the regional council is the preeminent entity for looking after our environment. There's nothing more important for our environment likely than the regional council. That's its job. And let's face it, our environment in Hawke's Bay has been let go badly. If there's one thing I heard on the election campaign trail, one topic that stood out above all else, it was water. Water, everywhere I went, people wanted to talk about water. The quality and the purity of the water, be it in Havelock North or other places, the quality of water in our rivers that people could swim in, the amount of water that we were using in water bottling, everywhere we went it was just about water. Now our community is deeply concerned about the water. Who would have believed that, given the quality of our environment, the way in which people look at Hawke's Bay, and given the amount of rivers that we have? But the sad truth of it, our rivers are in trouble. The sad truth is that they're not in good shape. Just go and stand at Clive and look at the amount of weed going down there. This is a wonderful waterway which should be used for recreation, but is almost impossible to use for recreation. There's all sorts of issues here. And I want to say that this is a really important time. Now we're going to elect Councillor Rex Graham to be the chair, and he is going to sit in that role for 3 years. And this council is going to have 3 years to make an influence on the future. 3 years is a short time, but you can do an enormous amount in 3 years. And I think we just have to look to Rex as to provide us with the leadership for the job. And I'm confident he will. I'm confident he will for many reasons. Firstly, my grandmother used to say to me, "Show me your friends and I'll show you who you are." I used to be spooked by that. It took me a while to figure out the wisdom of these people, but she's absolutely right. The quality of your friends tells you who you are as a person. And we had here today one person who I mark amongst Rex's friends, Henari O'Keefe. Now, Henari is an outstanding individual. I met him for the first time with the closure to Mortar Freezing Works. He's a great friend of Rex's, and if Henari is Rex's friend, well then he's a good person. I've met many other friends of his. And I just want to say that this is a mark of the individual. But more importantly, you've got to look at the individual and who they are in their own family situation. And I'm pleased to see that Henari's wife, Julie, is here. Sorry. Rex's wife, Julie, is here. It's what happens when you don't write a speech. Pleased to say that Rex's wife, Julie, is here. And there's no doubt that Rex loves Julie and Julie loves Rex. There's no doubt that Rex loves his kids. He cares for them, protects them, fosters them. And these are the sorts of qualities we want in people who are going to lead this region. If you can't look after your family, you can't look after the region. And he does that really, really well. He's also a person who I would regard as Hawke's Bay. Lived and worked in Wairoa, lived in Hawke's Bay. He has been in the fruit industry. He's mown hay, made hay, grown apples, exported apples, taken on the government over the single desk, all those things. Capable person, financially literate, and has shown great leadership qualities. Well, I look to Rex to draw on all of those strengths of his for the future. This is what it's about. It's about our mokopuna, it's about our grandkids and our great-grandkids. What we leave to them in the future. And I want to say, I don't think we have been left as good an environment as we could have. We have been takers for most of the last decades. It's time for us to turn that around, and we are to be builders, to leave something which is substantially better than what we inherited. That's the challenge, and Rex, in taking on the chair of the Regional Council, is going to have responsibility for leading us through that and leading us to a better place for Hawke's Bay. So in electing Rex here, I want to say to Rex, clearly, my friend, I welcome you to the job. I think you do a fantastic job, and the responsibility rests on you to lead us to a better place than we've been before. I think you're up for it. I really do. And I'll do everything I can to support you, and I hope everybody around this team here will help you to support that. But we want a better future for our kids, and we want a better environment, and this is the place that starts, and the chair is the place that leads it from the start. So you've got a big job, and we're going to help you for the next 3 years, and it's going to be an exciting and interesting 3 years.
Thanks, Rick.
Sorry I gave your wife away.
Point of order, Mr. Point.
Get the vote.
Have you put the vote, Mr.
No, I
Chair?
haven't. No. So if I can look, bit of formality after all of this, but which and thanks Councillor Curtin, plenty of experience there showing through. Can I put the vote for Chairperson, Councillor Rex Graham? All in favour, aye? Aye. Okay, thank you. In that case, Rex will get the declaration done, and then you can take the chair, and I can get out of it.
I, Rex Gordon Graham, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interest of the Hawke's Bay region the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as Chairman of the Hawke's Bay Regional Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987 or any other act, dated in Napier 26th today. I have some.
Well done, Rex.
Thanks, mate.
And look, Rex.
No, I'm going to start
You want to start
talking
in
here.
front?
I was want
Okay, that's fine.
to say something from here.
Right. Okay.
Kia ora tātou, everybody, thank you very much. Thank you, especially Rick. Giving my wife away was one thing, but if you had to give my wife away, you couldn't have thought of a better person to give them to. And thank you, everyone, for electing me here today. There's so many important people here and friends of mine today. I can't acknowledge everybody, but I would like to acknowledge, firstly, my wife, Julie, and my dearest and closest friend, Hanari. Thank God we had Hanari, who would play the guitar if we didn't. And he has told me that we must get a guitar and put it in the corner, so probably that's the first thing that we're going to do. I would also like to acknowledge Toro and Mike, who so ably lead our two Māori, one of the Regional Planning Committee and the Maori Committee. And a special thanks for Hami. He's always there when I need him. And I know he got a late call to come today, but I really do appreciate it, mate. You're just fantastic. Apologies from my dear friend Nahiwi Timona, who unfortunately had to be in Auckland today. I just wanted to say I will do my best to represent all the residents of Hawke's Bay and listen to and respect the viewpoints of all my councillors. We have come through some turbulent times, and there are still very difficult positions passionately held on certain key issues. This will not be easy to resolve over the next few months, and we need to be tolerant with each other's positions. We can and must work together to be the best regional council in New Zealand. As Rick pointed out, we are faced with a legacy of some very poor decisions made over many years around our environment. Many of our rivers, streams, lakes and estuaries are in trouble, and we need to respect and care for them much better in the future, and certainly much better than we have in the past. We cannot put the financial burden of cleanliness situation up onto one sector. The blame belongs to all of us. We are all responsible, as Mike Mohi so eloquently stated in his address. The task will require focused and courageous leadership from this council. We have some of the best and most well-qualified staff in New Zealand, and I'm extremely proud of their talents and their commitment to our kaupapa. Our job as councillors is to provide leadership and support to them so they can help us and our community achieve the tasks before us. We must challenge ourselves to be the market leader in our field, such as we already are with the Cape to City project, Manuka intellectual property, regional parks, and many other projects. But we must challenge ourselves to have the cleanest rivers and lakes and estuaries in New Zealand. Challenge our rural and urban communities, both rural and urban communities, and our industry to come on this journey with us, to operate in harmony with the environment and not work against it. Forging partnerships with community groups and the private sector to achieve these objectives will be high on my agenda. When people talk about the Hawke's Bay Regional Council in the future, either locally or nationally, I want them to admire us and our commitment to the environment and to supporting economic development and business growth that works with the environment. We want to cherish the cultural diversity in our region and be the council that has a true partnership with Tāngata Whenua. This council has made a good start on this journey with the RPC and the Māori Committee, which create a good foundation for us to build on. I am personally very committed to greatly improving and enhancing our relationship with all of our treaty partners, but especially with the treaty partners who are Kahanunu, Ngāti Kahanunu, who dominate our ruhi. I te iwi, ka hari tātau ki runanga, I te kotahi tanga. And for those of you that don't know that, it is to the Maori people I pledge to work together for all of you. Thank you very much. We have a job to get on with.
No tini te wini, no tini te wana. Turuki, paneke, turuki, paneke. Tihe mauri ora. A tēnei te mihi nui kia koe, e te pāpā, e te pau, e te kaikariki o tēnei kaupapa, me tō hōrangatira, e te whaia, e te kōkā, te whaia mare kura, no reira mihi mai, whakatau mai. Tēnā rā tāta katoa te rangatira, ki roto te whare e tū nei, no reira mihi mai, whakatau mai. Tēnā koe e te tuakana, me tō hōrangatira, Julie. Anei o toko whakaro I nānei. These are my thoughts at this time. Let heaven and earth record this day where Henare O'Keefe stood staunchly beneath the roof of the opulence of this building and said to his dearest and closest friend, it's time to forgive. It's time for compassion. It's time for humility and kindness. It's time for understanding. It's time to listen in order to understand rather than listen in order to reply. It's time for the common man, the common people, to inundate this building. It's time for their heart and soul and mind to litter this body. For the people, by the people, of the people. Tēnā koe e te rangatira. Benton. A formidable foe. A formidable foe. Fought the fight. Fought the battle. And the fact that you greeted my friend the way you did, you've just risen in status in my eyes. You know, when you come together and you hongi, that breath intermingles, you become one. On your own, you're both formidable, but together, you're invincible. For the people, by the people, of the people. Kia ora tātou katoa. So we wrote this song specially with Rex and Julie in mind. Especially with them in mind. For my new wife. I have a band of men, and all they do is play for me. They come from miles around to hear them play a melody. Beneath the stars, my tin guitar will play a song for you. And if you're with the one you love, this is what you do. Oh, ahula, ahula, ahula to my tin guitar. Every second you know where you are. Through the eyes of love you see 1,000 stars. Oh, when you hula, ahula, ahula to my tin guitar. Oh, yeah.
Thank you, everybody.